Welcome, everyone. I hope everybody is having a good Monday. Uh, I I realize why rich people drink expensive liquor. So last night I did a Patreon stream and I talked about Christopher Dirch, who was the known as Dr. D or Dr. Death. And it was fun. What's up, Mexi? Um, yeah, it was really fun. And I had a 12-year old, an age 12 years single malt bottle of scotch, and I drank damn near all of it. So we had some fun. Um, and I have one glass left. Cheers. So, um, yeah, so and point is just it's as to how pathetic it is. And it's just comical. Sorry, guys. Looks like I'm having some internet issues. Apologize for that. Hopefully, but all right. I'm sorry, guys. I am having internet issues through tonight. That is happening. Okay, so don't y'all worry. Uh, get yourselves comfortable. So, so, uh, yeah, this freaking limey man. I want to be aimed it to fuck. Uh, I would never the R word. Okay, I don't use it. Not since I was significantly younger. Um, I would never use the R word, obviously, to ever describe someone with a mental ill. I would never ever, I'd never ever just throw that word around. As a matter of fact, used to anyone on the planet, anyone in my Okay, where was I? Okay, so I want to explain. I would never ever I would never ever use the R word to to describe anyone. Uh I think it's a nasty word for the most part. I know it can be used just, freely, and I'm not one of those people who throws that word around because uh I would never ever use the R word to describe someone with a mental handicap or physical handicap, or if they're disabled, especially not. Uh, I don't think that this word applies to anyone on the planet, anyone in the universe, anyone in existence other than one person, and that is Kaylee Louise. I I tell you folks that I believe Kaylee Louise to be exclusively, and I mean the word exclusively, I mean that word in the most literal sense. I believe Kaylee Louise to be exclusively retarded. I just I just want to be clear about that. The title belongs to her and her alone. No one else. She owns it now. It is synonymous with her. And at this point, it just makes me laugh. At this point, it makes me laugh. Exactly, Kimmy71. Someone I'm giving a lot more attention to than they deserve. Most definitely. This person reached 1,000 subscribers at one point. She reached 1,000 subscribers at one point, and somehow she lost like 400 of them. I mean, that is one hell of a plummet. What does that say about you? What does that say about you? So I find that really, really, I find that really fascinating. It's people are just sending me screenshots. This person in her groups, she's obsessed. You know what? I wonder if she'll marry me. Oh man. Okay. Yeah, that's enough of the limey. That's enough about the limey. Yeah, like how do you do that? How do you do that? So yeah, sorry about the background noise, guys. Um Sorry, people are getting settled in, and I'm just trying to. Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking at the chat before we get into this. What we're doing tonight. It's gonna be, yeah. It's quite humorous. Uh, Nicole H, stop sending me super chats, man. Like, it's one of my mods, and she's super chatting me. It's like she works for me. She does stuff for me. She doesn't actually work for me. She just does stuff for me. I don't need her money. I should be paying her. So yeah, I'm weird about my mods super chatting me. Yeah. So, all right. I need a drink for this. No, I mean, you're right. I am saying it as an insult. It's absolutely, yeah, it's an insulting word. So, and and I stand by it. So we're Yeah, it's been a crazy day. I know there's some serious political stuff going on in the world. Uh, I'm not gonna lie, that's got me a little distracted. Um, it's and I don't want to get political on here. Let's just say that I'm not happy with certain decisions that have been made. As an American, I'm not happy at all. Doesn't matter as a Democrat, Republican, whatever. What's going on right now is there's all kinds of wrong with it. There's all kinds of wrong with it. Yeah. Yes. My prayers are with Afghanistan as well. Absolutely. Everyone there is affected by this. We have what we have is from what I understand, last I looked into it, we have United States diplomats that are stuck in an airport that has basically all control is lost over it. So we're looking at a potential Benghazi all over again. And for it to happen a second time is infuriating. I got to be honest with you. For it to happen a second time, it's infuriating. So that's just how I feel about that. So moving on, some old texts were recently shared with me, and I want to show. Hold on. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm only going to read some of the because I skipped like well over 100 pages to talk about this particular thing tonight in Kelly's deposition in October of last year that took place in October of last year. And we're going to talk about that because it confirms something that we've suspected this entire time. I mean, I should say we knew it, right? I mean, isn't that fair? We knew it this entire time. So, and now, now we hear it. And what's funny is it comes from Kelly herself. It comes from Kelly herself. But what was shared with me today is a little bit more disturbing. And I'm guessing that this is a text thread this is a screenshot of a text thread between Michael and Sophie back in August, I believe. August of 2020. So it basically says right here, can you all see that okay? Well, no, you can't really see it. I'll try to blow it up. But that's Sophie. This is Sophie's phone, okay? She's texting with her dad. And it says right here, my elbow hurts. Oh, man, I lost it. I'm sorry. My elbow hurts. They bent it too far. They smashed my foot. Was smashed in the door. I got a cut on my finger from mommy. I love you so much. But I need you help. They're taking away my phone. So the poor little girl, she doesn't understand. She's 9 years old at the time. She's not into punctuation apparently. So please be patient with the way I'm reading this. I'm doing the best I can. I need your help. They're taking away my phone and everything else because they think I'm going to hurt myself. Rachel said that my mom could sit on me. I love you. I might be able to keep my phone, but maybe not. I really miss you, Daddy. You, my heart, happy and protect me. I love you and want you, Daddy. I need you. I love you, Daddy. I miss you, want you, need you. Help me. And Michael responds, I can only see some of the text here. He says, oh, my love, just let them know that it makes you feel secure to have your phone, and there's no reason you shouldn't be able to speak with either of us. I guess that was the entire message. And I don't know about you guys, but that's pretty heartbreaking. And there's another one that's similar here. And it says here, hold on, this is interesting. Now, these were posted before, so these aren't really news. It's just a lot of you probably have never seen these, but these were posted a long time ago. So they are taking everything from my room, she says. Michael says, why did they take everything? If it's okay that I ask. It's just so funny how the guy's even that respectful to his own kid, which is really funny. It's bizarre to me, but it's funny. But it's actually comforting. Sorry, guys. She responds, they think I'm okay. They think I'm going to hurt myself. They're even taking away my clothes. She's making me feel bad about the Mr. Jake thing. Like, I wanted to keep my makeup mirror, and she said, why would you have it to you and you hate Mr. Jake? So I wonder what she's trying to say there, because that's how she worded it. She said, why would you, I guess maybe, why would you need makeup? And you hate Mr. Jake? But I don't know that for sure. That's just what I'm taking out of that. I don't know if that's exactly what she meant. She also says, also, Rachel said my mom could sit on me. I hate Mr. Jake. Rachel, I hate her. Forgot my Miralax. That's super, super disturbing. I mean, it just is. Like, why is a 9-year-old texting with her dad like this? That's a good explanation too. That's possible. Slimy. That's possible. Yeah, that's another thing. I don't know what that means. I don't know if she means literally about her mom sitting on her. Maybe it was a metaphor for maybe for babysitting, some sort of term for that. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But the bottom line is, knowing what we know, how could those text messages not raise questions? That's the entire point. How can those text messages not raise questions? And it's just really, really sad. And before I continue, I just thought of something. I didn't want to not touch on this. So I got some backlash, as expected, for reading the deposition the other night, and that was to be expected, of course. But of course, things get twisted. Apparently, I'm being, I'm getting messages left and right from people, and they're saying things to the effect of that I was bashing someone for having postpartum depression. Understand something. Anybody who has been subscribed to this channel, or at least been watching it since I started the channel, I've always been very candid about my mental health. I've always been candid about the fact that I struggle with depression. I struggle with anxiety. But I also take pride in the ways that I've chosen to manage it. That's exactly what the GLARE acronym is. It's a method that I've chosen to to manage this, and it works. It works for me very, very well. It may not work for everyone, but it works for me very, very well, and it's something that I take pride in. But I would never actually bash someone, especially, first of all, I would never bash someone for having mental health issues. I would never bash someone for having emotional issues. I would never bash someone who took steps to actually get help for it. But I will question someone's priorities when their child is coming. I read the proof. I read it. This is the stuff that's used to prove somebody a certain way in a court of law. And this was executed. This was executed by Michael's attorney. And I read it like verbatim. And the point was not, my focus was not the fact that Kelly was struggling with mental health issues. That's not what I'm talking. That was not the point in the slightest. It was the fact that she was being dishonest about the treatment that she was getting. She was dodging the questions. She was being dishonest. That was the focus of my point. It had nothing to do with the fact that I'm not trying to discredit her for having mental health issues. If she's taking the steps to correct these mental health issues, then good on her. Kudos. Absolutely. I would never bash somebody for that. Now, as far as the reason why it was the fact that she was dodgy about it, but it was also, it was a reflection of her priorities, because she's completely ignoring. She admits basically in so many words that she did not take Sophie's claims seriously at all, when she was telling her that she had a medical issue that needed looking into, and she blew it off. She completely blew it off, and then tried to somehow punish Michael for attending to his daughter's medical needs. She basically proves that she did not take her claims seriously, totally blew them off, did not do anything, did not schedule a doctor's appointment, did not call Michael and tell him, hey, your daughter said this, what should we do? She had no co-parenting strategy at all whatsoever in order with dealing with this issue, because to me, that's a serious issue. When a 9-year-old complains and describes her pain the way that she did, which I won't read, but she uses a metaphor that is quite disturbing. And what was the word that Kelly used to describe it? I already forgot. I don't have it in front of me. I'd have to go back to that page. But she admits that the statement is irregular. It is alarming, but she does nothing. She admits that she never tells Michael anything about it. She admits that she just blew it off. But yet she's so quick to go seek her own solutions for her own mental health issues. Now, I know the argument is, well, how can she, if she's struggling with mental health issues, she needs to be in her best state of mind to raise a child. Okay, well, sure. But apparently she was already getting help. So what's the excuse for still blowing off her child when her child needed her? Inflammatory. Thank you, Becky Emmett. Yeah, she admits herself, Kelly admits herself under oath, sworn testimony under oath, that she found the statement to be inflammatory. Her word to describe it. Yet she does absolutely nothing about it. Okay, the point is, let me address this real quick. Huntress Wizard, and this is valid. Guys, you can have UTIs as a kid. I had chronic UTI as a child and also as an adult. Was never SA'd. It can be genetic and it sucks a lot. I feel bad for her. Right. But the thing is I guarantee you, Huntress Wizard, if you lived in a stable home with stable parents, loving parents, okay, protective parents, concerned parents, that as soon as you complained about the pain from your UTI as a child, your parents asked you questions and looked into it. I can guarantee you that. They showed concern. That's the point. Nobody's saying that she can't have these issues. The problem is that her own mother didn't look into them. That's the issue. Now, moving on with the whole point of this live. So we've had, I talk about these creators, right? These creators that seem to be on Team Kelly, which is ridiculous because they're on Team Kelly, their words, they assume that we're all Team Michael. Am I helping Michael right now? Absolutely. Within the boundaries of the law, I am helping Michael because Michael is the only one that seems to be helping Sophie. And I make no apologies for that. I made a post. There's a GoFundMe. I won't have anything to do with that GoFundMe. I wish Michael all the best of luck. Great. But I will not share that GoFundMe. I made a post explaining it was in my Discord. And I was explaining to everyone in there, including my mods, that I want nothing to do with that GoFundMe. It will not be shared in any platform by any of my people on any platform that I am affiliated with. Just no. If you've been watching this channel for over a year now, then you know how I feel about GoFundMes and why I don't want anything to do with them. It's not that I have a problem with Michael having a GoFundMe, not in the slightest bit. Truth is, I think he needs all the help he can get, but I don't want anything to do with it because if you've watched this channel for over a year, you'll understand why. No, that's not true because immediately after she complained about the pain, she dropped her off with Michael. And she didn't mention anything to him about it. Michael acted and got her and took her to a doctor that for whatever reason, Kelly felt the need to call. And she said it was for her daughter's well-being, but she pretty much proved like, okay, well, if it was for your daughter's well-being, why didn't you show any concern when she came to you about the problem? So basically she proved her to be a liar because she called her to explain, at least that's the theory, to explain that there's a custody fight and she has one pediatrician and she doesn't want her seeing any other doctors than the pediatrician that Kelly provides for her. But what Michael did was what a responsible parent would do. Daughter says, I'm having these pains. Oh my God, let's get you to a doctor and get you checked out. That's what you're supposed to do. But for some reason, now what's really funny to me is the people defending her on this are the very same people that would criticize Michael if he hadn't done it, which I find hilarious. The double standard from these people's, is right. Well, 3 or 4 days later is my point. She never took her to the doctor for that. That's my point. So 3 or 4 days went by. She drops him off to Michael. So what are you trying to prove here? All you're doing is making my point that much more solidified. That I don't know, Annabelle, and that's a good question. That's a good question. I imagine he probably wouldn't. unless she was, I mean, honestly, I don't know. I don't know. That's my point. Exactly, Connie Lynn. She should have taken her to the doctor. She had 3 or 4 days to do it prior to dropping her off with Michael. Why didn't she do it within that 3 or 4 day window? So yeah, no, I know. I said almost immediately after. So, I mean, yeah, to me, 3 or 4 days, you know, oh, she is. She's extremely sneaky. And right now, what I'm going to do is I am going to read from the deposition that explains this, and I want you guys to listen carefully. Okay. Let me skip this. They're talking about the last name thing. So Michael's attorney, she says, okay, there's several YouTubers, vlogging on your behalf on the internet. Do you follow any of that? Kelly replies, no. Hold on. I went too fast here. All right. Sorry, guys. Almost there. Almost there. I went too fast and I scrolled through like 3 pages. All right. Do you follow any of that? Kelly says no. Do you only follow stuff on the internet that concerns stuff in Michael's camp? Kelly answers, I don't actually follow anything on the internet. I have people that bring something concerning to my attention, but it would absolutely, I think, crush my soul to live in what is the internet right now. Can't say I disagree with you there, Kelly. Okay. Do you support any sort of counter narrative online being waged on your behalf? She says, no, I mean, I'm not paying attention to it, so I don't have anything to do with it. All right. Pay attention to that answer right there. So I don't have anything to do with it. And so Michael's attorney says, right, but you're paying somebody to do it for you? Kelly says, no. And then she says, you have a PR firm who is doing that exact thing, right? She says, no. They put out a press release, and that's all. That's all I'm aware of what they have done. What's up, Leo, buddy? 2 press releases is all that you've paid them to do? Yes, she confirms. So she doesn't have anything to do with it, but she's saying that she paid this PR firm. She's admitting that she has this PR firm under her employ so far, and that she paid them to do 2 press releases. What else have they done? She says that's coordinate if people are requesting interviews like the Nancy Grace situation. That's pretty much the only one that I'm aware of. Okay, so the Nancy Grace situation, that was the day after our October 2nd hearing. Do you think that was proper that David went on Nancy Grace? She says yes. And did you approve of that in advance? She says yes. Okay, so when it's somebody in sport supporting you, that's okay. It's just that when it's somebody online supporting Michael, that you have a problem with it. I feel like you're just putting words in my mouth, so then I don't agree with that. Well, you described it as soul crushing potentially to follow it. She said, yeah, reading horrific things being said about you and death threats coming your way is pretty soul crushing. Yes. Are you aware of your PR firm being in communication with any social media personalities or YouTubers on your behalf? She says, yes. Yes. Who are they in contact with? I'm not sure. They said that they would send the press release out to YouTubers, and that's the extent of which. You don't know which ones? No. Okay, but you were aware that people on YouTube were going to be receiving some of the some sort of press release on your behalf. She says, yes. And do you know who specifically is in communication with them or feeding them that information? Is it just Kelsey or is there somebody else? I don't know. Just Kelsey to my knowledge. Okay. Right after October 2nd, these people on YouTube post on social media that they have all kinds of, alleged insider information about what happened on October 2nd and about the settlement. Did that come from your PR firm? She says, I would assume. Right. And do you have any other friends or family members that are also providing information to people on the internet to publish information about this case or anything involving your family? She says, I know that there are friends that try to defend me online. Who? Well, my sister's best friend. What's her name? Lisa. Lisa what? And then she spells the last name. And what does Lisa do online? I think she just follows it and keeps me informed. I mean, really, they contact me to say if there's anything that perhaps I should know about or be aware of. Who else is they? My sister. What's her name? Danielle. Danielle what? And then she spells the last name. And what does your sister tell you? She sends me screenshots. Okay. Do Danielle or Lisa ever publish any information online themselves? I don't know. You don't know anything that they've actually said. They've never brought to your attention, hey, I posted this or that, or I talked to so and so about this, and then and they posted, and they posted. I don't believe my sister would say anything online about this situation, so I feel like I could say that pretty confidently. As for Lisa, like I don't actually know. I don't know. You don't know? Who else? I don't know. I have a lot of people that are in these groups that are reading things, but I don't have any knowledge of them posting anything. Okay. Who else is reading things on your behalf? Like in these groups, kind of, you want to know all their names? Well, I mean, I asked you a question earlier about, are you aware of people online monitoring these things or posting things on your behalf? Like in these other groups that are supportive of Michael, and you said no. I feel very confident, Kelly says. Now, hold on. She interjects, Michael's attorney. Now I feel like you're telling me you're aware of a lot of people that are at least monitoring and reporting back to you. So that's a little bit different than what your prior answer was, that you had no knowledge of that whatsoever. I could speak to, I have been contacted by several people I've known, multiple dozens of people I've known throughout my life who have reached out to me to say, what is going on? Are you okay? That doesn't necessarily mean that I can speak to the monitoring that they're doing or if they are responding to anything. I don't know. Who has reached out to you? Somebody named Carrie. Amanda, let's see, Candace, Lauren, hold on. Candace, this person, is that one word or two? And then one, blah, blah, blah. Okay. She's just going through the names and making sure that they're all, she's writing them down in her notes. So she says, I don't know. There are dozens of others that I just cannot remember off the top of my head right now. And these dozens of people, Carrie, Amanda, Candace, Lauren, Danielle, Lisa, have they given you specific information about what they see online? Some of them. What have they provided for you? Screenshots of what's happening. Have all of those been produced to me in discovery? I don't know. I don't know what I don't know that they needed to be, since they are on the internet. You cannot, I mean, is there a way that you can confirm that you've produced to me everything that you've received from the internet? From these people reaching out to you about the case, sharing screenshots. I can certainly look. Yeah. Have you ever been fired or terminated from a position, from a job? No. Have you ever been asked to resign? Yes. And where did you ask to resign from? Okay. Hold on. I don't want to read all that. That's stuff that I don't really care about. Okay. So I'm not going to. This goes to her credibility right here too. Um, so she names the company. She says, "What is the time frame on that?" Kelly answers, December of 2015 or January of 2015. One of them. I'm guessing she meant 16. I don't remember the exact date. Was it December of 2015 or January of 2015? I mean, that's literally an entire year. If she meant to say 2015, that's an entire year of a gap that she's not sure of. I don't remember. And why did they ask you to resign, Kelly? There was a new chief of staff. I mean, there was a new HR leader coming in who wanted her own chief of staff, and that was the role that I was in. So I negotiated a severance settlement. And given that I had gone through a divorce that year, I used that settlement to not be in a rush to find another role. I did look for other roles in San Antonio, particularly, and this company gave a really good offer, and Michael wasn't around at the time. So Ms. Lishman says, and I'm just going to object as non-responsive. Kelly's like, okay. And she has to keep explaining to her. I mean, this is page 236. She says, I know you're in a time crunch, so just try and keep your answers strictly to what I'm asking you. And we can probably follow through we could probably flow through this a little bit quicker. I don't have too much left, but, and she's like, okay. Before I get into this, in a more of this, because I don't want to keep reading it, because I have other stuff. I skipped ahead to basically talk about that. So if you remember back in the day, the YouTube creator that released that press release did that was in fact Critical K. Okay, now Critical K is a Kelly supporter. She's a Michael hater and she's a Sophie hater, because she has repeatedly called Sophie a liar. She has repeatedly called her a brat. And so right here, what you're seeing though, because I always wondered, I was like, I'm surprised. I kept thinking, I'm surprised that Kelly has not slapped Critical K with a lawsuit for talking about her child the way that she does. But you just heard me read that this PR firm, that she paid a PR firm to make a press release and supply it to particular YouTubers. And Critical K was that YouTuber, if you remember correctly. So was Critical K paid by Kelly? I don't know. I'm not getting paid nothing by Michael or anybody to release this. But I'll tell you what, Critical K sure made a lot of money off of it. She sure made a lot of money off of it. So basically, yeah, I mean, you just hear her admit she paid her PR firm to make this press release and give it to Critical K. And Critical K is actively this entire time, if you go back, get in your little brain time machine and go back to about this time last year, okay? And moving forward, we're talking about a YouTube creator that was getting hammered drunk on camera And I did a couple times myself, actually, so I'm not going to trash her for that. I mean, but for her to criticize me for doing it like twice, and she did it every night, and she's blowing a kazoo, she's wearing a tiara, she's playing with a rubber chicken. A liar and a brat. She's calling Kelly's daughter, a 9-year-old girl, a liar and a brat. And Kelly admits to paying a PR firm to use Critical K as the voice to speak out for Kelly. If that isn't the biggest red flag, besides her having no interest in taking her child to the doctor and having no interest in listening to her claims about physical pain that she's experiencing in certain areas of her body that are unmentionable, how is it that every single YouTuber that is in support of Kelly does the dirtiest stuff on YouTube? Every single one of them. What does that tell you? You got to use your eyes. What does that tell you? Cheers. Oh, we all called it a long time ago. We all called it a long time ago. Hashtag Glare was right. I mean, that's all you got to do is just put two and two together. Why is it that the only people willing to speak out on Kelly's behalf are the most dirtiest, down bottom feeder type channels on YouTube? If somebody gets a hold of it, sure. If somebody gets a hold of Michael's deposition, I'm happy to go over it. I have no problem with that. I'm sure one of these trash channels will go over it. You know what I mean? Like, it's fair game. You know, I mean, it believe that if they go over it, I'm going to go over it, you know, but if I get a hold of it first, I'll go over it first. You know, I don't have any, this isn't about this isn't about taking a side between Kelly and Michael for me. This is about everywhere I turn, there's something ugly about what's going on with Kelly. There's something really shady. Everywhere I turn, there's something about her that makes me go, more reason for me to believe that Sophie's telling the truth. There's nothing about her personality that's making me go, oh man, I don't know, man. I question Sophie. You know what I mean? There's nothing. She's making it really, really easy for me to believe Sophie. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, that was so irresponsible. She riled people up to go hunt. Worth dude did the same thing in the Facebook groups. And these are people who claim to be concerned about Sophie. Now, if you go and you rile people up to go do something like that, how does that not put Sophie in direct danger? And these are the people going to bat for Kelly. These are the people that Kelly's PR firm provided press releases to. These are the people that Kelly's PR firm that is under her employ, that she is paying. These are the people that she's chosen to speak for her. And for some reason, she thinks that that because it's not her speaking directly, that that we can't see right through that. I mean, how does it make it better that she's paying somebody to do it? Because what does that say about her priorities? What are, I don't understand. Because now she has this other attorney, this Laura Elkin person, who's an attorney in public relations of some sort. Let me even look that up. Let me see what. Hold on. Kelly, when she emailed me with empty threats, I found it interesting. Okay. I have to find it. I have a lot of emails. Dude, it's taking forever. Here we go. All right. Okay. Hold on. Okay, so she did not actually specify what she does for Kelly. I mean, but like I said, I mean, she's basically a thug. she's the big mafia boss man, being Kelly Long. She's the big mafia boss man that's standing at 4 feet tall with a big old chain around her neck and sunglasses, trying to intimidate people. Oh. So she doesn't actually specify. She says, I do not represent Kelly Long in the custody dispute. David Routson is her family court lawyer. Please reach out to law enforcement with any information you may have regarding the child. And yeah, which I have none of that information. Make no mistake whatsoever. If there's an Amber Alert out for Sophie tomorrow, you better believe that if I find out where Michael is, in a second, absolutely in a split second, I would have in the law in any way, shape, or form. And as a matter of fact, I believe in what I'm doing. I absolutely believe in what I'm doing. This you can't just throw somebody in jail and then deny their request for a trial jury. Now, I have a theory on why that trial jury request was denied. I have a theory on that because I saw the filing for it. The filing for the trial jury is interesting. There's a mistake made on it. Now, the case number is he all right. He made a mistake in the way that he filed this thing. A very a silly mistake. And in this mistake, what he did was he put the right case number up, right? He put the correct case number up. But what he failed to do was you got to understand, this guy's going through a custody fight with Kelly, and he's going through a divorce and a potential custody fight with Courtney right now. So both of these things happening at the same time, representing himself in both. And what he did was he put the right case number in his request for a trial jury. He put the right case number, but he put in the interest of Phoenix, him and Courtney's child, in the interest of Phoenix and it was him versus Courtney Chalmers. So, so I don't know if that's what caused him to get the denial or if that gave them a reason. But even still, a mistake like that, I feel like a judge, any judge who was on the up and up would go, you realize you misfiled this, right? I'm going to go ahead and overlook that. You got the case number right. So yeah, you have the right to a jury trial. Absolutely. If you want to dispute why I'm throwing you in jail, great. But he didn't do that. This judge did not do that. And by law, he doesn't have to. You know what I mean? Like if he misfiled the paperwork, if you misfiled the motion for a jury trial, well, that's quite possible. It's quite possible that that's what he's going to use to justify denying him the jury trial. So it is the danger of being pro se. Absolutely. Well, Crime Story, I get all that. Everybody keeps saying that. I believe it's because it's a civil matter and not a criminal matter. That's why it's not met. It's not to meet a jury trial criteria. Well, I call bullshit on that, man. I call bullshit because if you're, I believe everybody, you can't just sentence somebody and throw them in jail, take away their freedom for a set period of time. You can't just do that. Now, if they do that without a fight, that's one thing. But if they say straight up, like, wait a minute, no, I have rights. I'd like to be able to present my case to 12 people of my peers, 12 of my peers, and see if they think that I should be thrown in jail for 180 days. We have that right. It's in the Sixth Amendment, people. We have that right. Just because it's civil court, it does not mean that you get to just you get to just take somebody's rights away. That's not how life works. That's not how America works. Right. And he did. He did, but he misfiled the paperwork. He misfiled the motion. He absolutely misfiled the motion. I saw it myself. I don't care who you are. If you're an American citizen, you have the right to a jury trial. If you're facing freedom being taken from you, if you are being punished with jail time, you have the right to dispute why you're being thrown in jail. You absolutely have that right. How can you not have that right? And how can you not be awarded the right to a court-appointed attorney in the process to defend you? Miranda doesn't apply to family court, people involved in family court? It doesn't? That's what I'm saying. And for that judge to deny him his rights, why? Because before I thought it was for no reason, which is worse. But I mean, because he misfiled the motion to request a jury trial. I mean, but that would mean, can he refile it? I asked him that. I never got an answer, but, or at least I just don't remember the answer. But I just don't see it. I don't see how that's not completely an injustice. Now, what's ironic is they could have, and it was funny because it was Kelly's request. You know what I mean? It was Kelly's request. They recommended that the judge throw him in jail. But contempt of court, yeah, crime story it is for contempt of court. But I mean, even still, how do you not have the right to defend yourself for a charge of contempt of court? If you're charged with anything, if you're charged with a crime, misdemeanor, felony, you as an American have the right to defend yourself. And you have a right to be heard by 12 people that are your peers. Doesn't matter. They can hold them for bail, but they have to give them a court date and they have to give them a lawyer. You know what I mean? But until he gets that, until he gets some sort of, I'm assuming that until he actually gets what he's asking for, which is basically a confirmation in writing that yes, you will have a court date, then I don't think that he has any intention of returning. Now, if he does this and he's charged with kidnapping or something to that effect, well then you're on your own, homie. That's where the Glare train stops. But I don't think that law enforcement believes him to be a danger to this child. So, or at least not yet. Oh, what's up, Ken's Counseling Couch? The Glare, he can submit a motion to reconsider, but not the same thing twice, to my understanding. Then he would not have to appeal to a higher court. Hey, do you want to come up here? It's up to you. I understand it's on the fly or whatever, but you're welcome to join me if you like. And they're not going to not know where he is. They're not going to not be able to find him. They're law enforcement. They're detectives. That's what they do. No problem, buddy. No problem. Right. I mean, yeah. See, I don't know all the legal aspects. As an American, how I like, I enjoy my freedoms. I enjoy my rights. And there's just no way that there's no cherry picking the Sixth Amendment is what I'm saying. There's no cherry picking it. Like, okay, the Sixth Amendment applies to all Americans. No, that's not how it works. Like that's the Bill of Rights, dude. Like that is your right. That is your right. And yes, you're entitled to you're entitled to be in support of Kelly. There's people that make comments all the time in my, I delete the ones that are just stupid, but there are some intelligent people who support Kelly. And I understand that. And they come at me and we have, in the comment section of my a lot of them will leave comments that are actually very respectful, sometimes even insightful. That's always welcome. That's always welcome. Yeah, no. I never censor anyone who doesn't agree with me necessarily. I censor those who don't agree with me and they make really ignorant, stupid it's a courtesy to others where I'm just like, you're right. And I don't know if you were listening, Ken, but I pointed out that I was recently made aware that he misfiled. Technically, he misfiled. Now I don't know. That I think that's more of a Nick question right there. But he misfiled his motion for a jury trial because what it says is it has the right case number. It has the Kelly and Michael case number. But what he did was he wrote in the interest of the child being Phoenix, not Sophie, but in the interest of the child being Phoenix, with which is this child with Courtney, his current wife, who he's getting divorced from. And he's got so what he does is he puts the right case number for the jury trial, but he puts the right case number but he puts in the interest of the child Phoenix and in the case against Courtney. So yeah, going pro se. He's not doing it for the reasons that Critical K is doing it. Not because he thinks he's so, you know, that he not that he fancies himself an attorney with a massive ego. He's just doesn't have the money for it. And it's crazy because you could tell that he has like you could tell that the case was going pretty well for him before he no longer had an attorney. Like his attorneys were doing a pretty damn good job. You could see it in the deposition there. Like all of a sudden in the case, doesn't even matter how many times she was caught lying. Doesn't even matter how many times it's proven. Does not Her actions are not that of someone whose best interests are focused on Sophie, or whose focus is on Sophie's best interests. Sorry, I'm verbally dyslexic. Um, but yeah, none of that matters. That's what's crazy to me. None of that matters. None of that's being used. None of it's being reviewed. None of it's being considered. Like so far, you've got somebody who's spending their money on trying to throw someone in jail when the family court system, it's people civil and it's and parents civil, so that for the best interest of the child, the it's about that. Thank you, Ken. Okay, so Ken says the glare, if the case number was right and the judge didn't dismiss it because of the name, it's just a typo and the court has rules in place that basically it's not a big deal. Okay. I mean, but it's like two big typos, you know? Um, but but yeah, I mean, more valid reason than just no, you can't have a jury trial. That makes no sense to me. Okay, maybe she was, let's see, maybe she was saying that why would she want to keep it? Because maybe Mr. Jake gave it to her. Why? She went to keep it. If you know something's dealing with, I don't know what that means. Well, you'd think that the court would be fighting for Sophie, but they're not. They're not. None of these people's actions seem to be in the of his methods, but he's at least being the only one that's showing that she is his. I mean, we're talking about all these things that are being ignored. So let's talk about the gag order. So everything that I just read right now totally indicates that every Kelly supporter and Michael hater have been trashed for. To murder somebody for you. You didn't pull the trigger, but pulling the trigger, aren't you just as accountable? Aren't you just as accountable? So she violated that gag order too. I don't care what anybody says. So not only did she violate a gag order, but she also violated the order that the judge said the kids cannot be anywhere. One of these children was seriously injured as a result, make no mistake, as a result of her violating that order. Guys, I apologize. It seems to be getting a good signal now. Keep in mind though that I'm also like pausing a lot in between sentences, so well, allegedly. Let's be fair there, Sahara Turner. She allegedly broke the gag or broke the Jake order at the hotel, sure. But she absolutely broke it when Jake got them go-karts or something, and then there's a go-kart accident, and the kid ends up shattering his wrist. You know, like, yeah. So she broke the gag order, definitely, or she broke. And one of the boys, ends up shattering his wrist. So, I mean, like the entire purpose of this order, Jake, until we reach something, kids, to try to get Jake, to try to get that order lifted. Let's see, for how interesting they were in meaningless text messages, I would think they would make things like forensic. Right. Exactly. I agree with that. You know, like that's what I'm saying is how we know that Kelly's lying in this deposition when she's saying, I don't know what's being said. I don't know anything about what's going on the internet. How did Kay get personal emails between Kelly and Michael? How did Kay get personal emails and personal text messages where Kay is literally on camera wearing a cowboy hat and a bandana and mocking Michael because she thinks that she has gold content? And that gold content could only come from one place because Michael wasn't providing her with that information. So and then she just basically admits it. Oh, the PR firm. But you're paying the PR firm and you're providing the PR firm with data. Now, I'm not saying they paid Kay to do this, but I proved already last year, I proved already that her reasons for covering the case were absolutely monetary. Absolutely monetary. That was her entire motive. She doesn't care about Kelly. Critical K doesn't care about anybody. She doesn't care about anybody. I agree, Kelly Lever. I agree. And I remember I want to be clear about something. Before when I said, because it was this Lisa Sadowski, I think her name is. It was this Lisa person who's supposedly Kelly's best friend, right? Supposedly Kelly's best friend. She's the one who sent the email to Ken's counseling couch. She's the one who sent the email to his employers that resulted in him being terminated, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that she was the one who doxed him. So for me saying it wasn't Kay that doxed him, well, I don't know about that. I honestly don't know about that. All I'm saying is Ken was doxed, and then as a result of him being doxed, this Lisa person went and emailed Ken's former employer. Yeah, I agree with you, Ken. Everything should be called into question. Every single thing. And that's what a trial jury would do. If he has a chance to explain what he's doing to 12 people, they don't want that to happen. Why don't they want that to happen? If he has a chance to explain to 12 people, this is why, please, I want to submit this document into evidence. I want to submit this document, this recording into evidence, this body cam footage from a police officer into evidence. I want to submit this stuff into evidence. And 12 people hear this. You know what I'm saying? I doubt 12 of them will unanimously convict him. I seriously doubt it. And they don't want that to happen. I love that. I love this right here. Tina, I am no longer a victim. I am now a survivor. It took a ton of work, but I made it. The saddest part of this is Sophie will carry this in some way for the rest of her life. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that you said that you're not a victim. That's something that's really big here on this channel. I believe that people are victimized once, but if you continue to be a victim, that's on you. It is on you to change whether or not you are a victim to being a survivor. That's on you. It's completely, you are accountable for making that change and making life better for yourself. That's not to say that you're not going to have to live with these demons for the rest of your life. The trick is you're going to have to manage them. You have to manage these demons. There's nobody, it's up to nobody else to damage them or to manage them but you. Let's see. Kay was trying to. She had the wrong info, but was posting the info in my chat and goading people to call my employer that day. So she even facilitated them calling your employer. Yeah, I'd love to see those receipts. As a matter of fact, I'd love to have those, Ken. I'd love to have those. Yeah, we don't believe in victims here in the at least not adults. We don't believe in that. In people labeling themselves victims here in the glare. We don't like that. Like, she worded that perfectly too. She worded that perfectly. Kelly Lever said perfectly that it took a ton of work. It took a ton of work. That means, that's it. It's accountability and self-awareness. You're going to have to put in the work. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult, but it's up to you. Because what you got to understand, when you're an SA victim or a victim of any type of abuse, if you're a DV victim, what happens is if you allow this to control you and your decision making moving forward and the direction that you go in your life. I'm a strong believer in this. Now, I'm not a mental health professional. I'm just telling you from my personal experiences what works for me, and I very, very much believe in this, that you just you're gonna have to put in the work. You're going to have to put in the work, and you're going to have to understand that it's something that you're going to have to live with for the rest of your life. And it's up to you to decide whether you allow it to run your life and you allow it to take your life into a certain direction. Or are you going to take control of this? Are you going to take ownership of this thing that victimized you and continues to victimize you? Are you willing to take ownership of it and use it to take your life in the direction that you want it to go? Right. And the thing is if you allow that to happen, the person that victimized you won. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. If you're an SA survivor and it has defined how you deal with intimacy, then then they won. That person who victimized you, they won. They beat you. And as long as you're alive, you're still in the game. You know what I mean? As long as you're alive, you're in the game. You can take control of that game. You could start blitzing and you could start throwing touchdowns. You can get back in the game and you can win it. As long as you're still breathing, as long as you're still alive, speaking, breathing, it is absolutely up to you. And it's not easy. Nobody's saying that it's easy. And as tenacious as Sophie seems, I have all the faith in the world that she's going to get through this. It's going to take a lot of work. She needs to be in counseling. I absolutely agree with that. She needs to be in counseling. I hope he does that. I hope he does that, Ken. Yeah, exactly. Healing is a process, man. I mean, you're not going to get a cut on your foot and then it's going to heal just because you decided it was going to heal. That's not how it works. But you can absolutely take care of it. You get a bad cut on your foot, right on the bottom of your foot. you're bleeding like crazy, right? Now you can either bandage it up and decide, okay, it's going to hurt to walk on it, but if I don't walk on it, if I don't walk on this thing, once it's healed up enough and it's not so prone to infection and I've got it bandaged up, well, then guess what? Your foot's going to get weaker. You're going to be weaker. And if you use it as an excuse, oh my God, my foot got cut. I can't run. My foot got cut like 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, wait a minute, but you could have done what you needed to do. It's a cut on your foot. You know what I'm saying? I broke my foot. Okay, well, your bones heal, man. They take time, but you gotta get back. You break your leg, it's gonna get weak because you gotta stay off your leg for a minute, let it heal. But you're gonna have to work it out, build the muscles back around that bone that broke. But you know what happens though? What's interesting, what happens when you get a cut? What happens when you break a bone is that bone heals, and then when it heals, it's actually stronger than what it was before once it's mended. That's a fact. When you get a cut on your foot, what do you get? You get scar tissue. Scar tissue is much stronger than skin. So technically, these things happen, and you're stronger. You're actually stronger than you were before. You just have to choose to acknowledge it and use it. And every one of you guys that are survivors, I believe in every single one of you. You guys are the most inspiring people in the world. I mean that. Like, I can't imagine having something like that taken from me like that. I can't imagine that. So you guys that are survivors, you guys are incredibly inspiring to me. Absolutely. Oh, Kara, I already read the part of the deposition today that I was going to read. I'm going to keep reading it. This is going to keep going. But I just wanted to skip to that one part. I actually skipped a lot. But I skipped. I wanted to point out that in case we were wondering whether or not Kelly hired a PR firm to feed YouTubers information, she absolutely did. She absolutely 100% did, and she admitted it in this deposition. And when she was lying about it, she was caught lying about it. Yeah, totally. Faith Fit Fun. People don't realize that. People really don't realize that. People don't understand like how important your mental game is in everything. When it comes to anything, when it comes to improving your body, right? When it comes to like bodybuilding and getting stronger and exercise, right? Like you're gonna have to, like, if it comes to losing a ton of weight because you were, grossly and overwhelmingly obese to where your health was on the verge of being, you were on the verge of being pretty much terminal. And then people go and they lose like crazy amounts of weight, like 300 pounds, right? Like, what you got to understand about that is that's mental, man. Like, yeah, you've got to be able to physically put yourself in a position to test limits. You got to be able to do that. You got to do it safely, but you got to be able to do that. You're not gonna. I mean, that's the thing is, there's no way that I'm going to go. Okay, I'm doing 10,000 meters on this row machine today, right? There's no way that I'm going to be able to do that without knowing that by the 6,000 meter mark, I'm going to be like, oh man, I got to keep going. I got to keep going. I got to be resilient. I set this goal for myself and I am going to make it no matter what. Nothing is going to stop me. I am not, because if I stop, it's because I made the decision to stop and I beat myself. I made some excuse in my head and I go, well, 6,000 is not bad. No, dude, you said 10. Get your ass to work. That's what I tell myself. You said 10. Get your ass to work. None of this. No. That's literally me in my head talking to myself, arguing with myself. The stubborn me that is getting the goal done, and the other one that's making excuses for myself, going, dude, you did good, man. Chill out. Chill out. It's just that simple. Yeah. It's just that simple, man. Like you're gonna have to find the tenacity in your head. That's the only way. It's the only way to dig deep and find that tenacity to where you're not taking no for an answer from you. Like that's you. Do you know what that does for depression? Do you have any idea what that does for my depression? To set goals, to simply exercise my setting goals for myself and meeting them. Simple, mundane ones, like when I'm at the gym. All right, I'm adding 10 pounds to the weight that I've been bench pressing. I'm doing that today. I might be able to only get it up one time, but I did it. I did it. I wasn't taking no for an answer. You know what I mean? That right there is just like being able to tell myself, I told myself I was going to do this and I'm doing it. Being able to do that is the best treatment for depression ever. And guess what? Nobody's prescribed that to me. I did that. Now, while I'm not faulting anybody for taking medication that's prescribed to them or seeking help from a professional, if that's what you're still making the choice to do better for yourself. You're still doing that. So that there's something to be said about that. Absolutely. You're still doing that. You're still making the decision. I'm going to go and I'm going to talk to a professional about my issues so that I can take the steps forward to fix them. That's nothing to shake a stick at, man. That's great. That's absolutely great. Well, obviously, I mean, yeah, obviously, sure. Like, I'm not going to go and say, okay, I'm going to make $1 million this year. That's not, it's not realistic. You know what I mean? But yeah, of course. Yeah. I don't go, okay, well, I'm going to run 20 miles. No, I'm not doing that. I'm a smoker. That's never going to happen. But for being a smoker, dude, I surprise myself all the time with cardio. I surprise myself all the time with it. Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, that's what I'm like. I apply the glare to exercise. One of these days, I'm gonna make at least one video about it. like an exercise oriented video, but I'm going to explain as to why and demonstrate how I use the glare to how I apply the glare to exercise. But yeah, what you're talking about, you're saying set realistic goals. That's where logic comes in. That's where I apply logic, logic and rationality. Because it's illogical to just hurt yourself. Because if I do something that's just going to hurt me, then I'm going to hurt myself physically. Then what good am I doing? Then I'm going to put myself out of commission possibly and not be able to use this method to manage my depression and anxiety that I've fell in love with. Yeah. Yeah, one of these days, Amethyst, I'm going to do that. I already talked to somebody, and they're going to have to actually just kind of film me when I do this stuff. Oh man, I'm getting tired, guys. Well, thanks, man. Thanks, Faith Fit Fun. I appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoy it. And make no mistake, I mean every word I say on here, man. I mean every word I say here. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, that's where self-awareness comes in. You gotta learn yourself, and you gotta be able to know when you're making excuses for yourself or when you're not. Like really see what you're capable of, you know? Like really see what you're capable of. Everybody's different. Different diets work for different people. Different exercise routines work for different people. You know, has depression ever stopped me from working? Yeah. But again, I allowed it to. That's on me. Nobody else is accountable for that but me. I can't even blame the depression, because if I know that I'm capable of managing my depression by putting in work, well then, and then I choose not to put in the work, I don't get to get mad at anybody but myself for allowing the depression to get the better of me, do I? Yeah. So, I mean, in a nutshell, guys, I mean, the more that I read of this deposition, the more I realize that this is just a self-serving person. She's not doing anything in favor of Sophie. She's not doing anything, you know. And I want to clear something up. Like people think that I made up. Like I'm getting criticism from trolls about the thumbnail for this video, but you know, my response to that is whoever that is in the thumbnail is in disguise. Okay, they're in disguise. I don't have any idea who they are. I don't even know who they are. They're in disguise. So the disguise is working. Okay. I did that to protect anonymity. You understand? I mean, yeah, they're what this is how you understand things. This is how you know, right? When you have when you have an idiot, right? When you have a moron like Limey with the T, whose response to everything is to go and expose former police reports, to dox me and perform and find former police reports. I don't care that she does that. Like, I'll explain why. Reason one, I don't care because she has no credibility anyway. She's a liar. Everybody knows that she's a liar, and she's going to spin some crazy, stupid story. The person that she got all this stuff from is an ex, again, right there. The person that she got this stuff from is an ex that has done nothing but dedicate her life to making my life miserable. And I even beat her in court for custody. And I was working at Domino's when I did. You know what I'm saying? Like, not a difficult person to prove in court that they're off their rocker. So, you know, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't care. And third, the reason why I don't care that she's doing this is because this is stuff I've already explained many times. It's the basis of this channel. That is the point of this channel, is I've made certain mistakes in my past. I used to be a person with very questionable character. Absolutely. But I got low. I got to the lowest point anybody could ever get. And then I made a decision. Just like Shawshank, get busy living or get busy dying. And I chose to get busy living. And so I started this channel. And I just, you know, I try to do good things with it. I do what I think is right. I'm always doing what I think is right. So, I mean, another reason why I don't care that she does it is it speaks volumes about her. I'm up here showing documents of, I'm showing her sworn testimony under oath. I'm going over Kelly Long's sworn testimony under oath. You could not get better data than that. You can't. You can't go by anything better than that. And her response to that is to just go live like 4 times and then go, I'm exposing Will's past, blah, 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 blah. Like, you know, it's ridiculous, dude. It's just stupid. Like, that's her response. Not, okay, well, I have these court documents that prove otherwise. I have this and I have this. No, there's none of that. It's just an attack. You know what I mean? Like, it's just an attack. It's ridiculous. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is all these creators do the same thing. That's what they do. They get proven wrong, and then what they do is they go behind the scenes and they start doing ugly, dirty crap. I mean, for those of you didn't see my post. Guys, I think that's going to do it for me. I think I'm done for the night. I love you guys very much. And for those of you that you know, man, yeah, the chat, the subscriber of the night, man, is definitely um hold on. I know her first name, but I have to specify her last name for obvious reasons. Kelly Lever. So Kelly Lever, yeah, you have all my respect in the world for what you shared tonight, because that's exactly what I try to what I want the essence of this channel to be. If this channel can inspire anything, I want it to be that what you expressed about being a survivor. And I thought that comment was fantastic. So I really appreciate you contributing to the chat with such an insightful comment. So thank you so much. All right, guys, I love you very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.